What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another week of Comic Character of the Week. With the usual crew, Sal is on location again, studying the process of making meatballs and learning to create a perfect way to do it. So, Sal, we miss you, buddy. We'll see you soon. But with that being
said, himself in marinara, he rubs himself down with it, and then he rolls the meatballs.
I can see it, like, you know how like you see the old timey way of making crushing grapes to make wine. Yeah, that's what I envision Sal doing right now, but with meatballs.
Just like crushing marinaras.
Yeah, just all the tomatoes.
You know, they say when you gotta, you gotta crush the garlic and crush the tomatoes and stuff to put in. That's how he's doing it. He's just putting it in the big vat like they do the grapes at the wineries, and he is just walking around on them barefoot. What's up, Chris?
Chris,
happy birthday!
Yes, buddy.
Yep, he had a birthday the other day.
Oh, yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he had a birthday yesterday.
So how's everyone doing today?
Doing good.
All right.
I was telling Gary, Sonny was wearing a tap out shirt on the podcast last night, and then I just kept making all these jokes about it. I was like, what were you, the last one to tap out?
Yeah, I got, because my last shirt was like in 2009. I was like, he still got his.
And then I told him, I was like, yeah, maybe you should wear a Winger shirt. And he's like, I actually have Winger's greatest hits over there. I was like, you're such a dork.
Okay, I don't get the significance of a tap out shirt, so what am I missing?
Okay, so tap out was a big brand in the UFC back when UFC first started. It was their first major sponsor.
Okay.
And back when I fought, tap out was huge.
That's Cowboy Strike. It's not working. So it's like a members only jacket.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like it's equivalent to wearing like an NFL logo on your t-shirt.
And yeah, that's a good point, Son of Crom, because Red Tornado was introduced just a few months after the Vision.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes,
and yeah, it's funny you said members only jacket because I referenced Shallow Hal when Gwyneth Paltrow says to Jason Alexander, like, members only jacket. What are you, the last member? I was like, yeah, Sonny, you're the last to tap out.
Well, listen, at least he has one. I never even had a tap out shirt. That's how out of it I was. So
we're all big MMA fans, so it's always like it's still the memorabilia of it. I had a tap out hat.
Listen, I wear gear that's very, very, very old. I have jerseys of 25 of the 32 NFL teams, and some of them would be vintage now. When I bought them, they weren't vintage.
Yeah.
Did I ever ask you, do you have a Jaguars one?
Yes. Number 18, Matt Jones.
Oh, you got Jones? Okay.
I took 18 because I got the 18 because 9 number was 81.
Oh, okay.
So it was a reverse of mine.
The reason
good looking teal jersey.
The reason I asked is because I love there's like we're going on a tangent right now. But there's a thing where people will pick their like fantasy team, but it's like all Hall of Famers or anybody that's been great on the team. And anytime they get to Jacksonville, they just like you get one pass, and they're like, pass. I'm like, what? You can't take Jimmy Smith? You can't take Fred Taylor? You can't take Mark Brunell? What are you doing?
I mean, Mark Brunell shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but
he's not.
No. But I'm saying like the all-time greats of the team.
They have the linemen. The lineman that
the left tackle.
Yeah, the left tackle that was so great. I can't remember his name right now, but he was a Hall of Famer.
But you look at like the wide receivers, Jimmy Smith's up there. He's got accolades.
Well,
Jimmy Smith and Fred Taylor, I think, deserve it. But
who was the other running back? The little bowling ball.
Oh, Marquise Jones-Drew,
Pocket Hercules.
Yeah. When he flattened Sean Merriman.
But he did. Yeah, but Sean Merriman was only good 1 year when he was roiding up.
Yeah.
Jones-Drew just Jones-Drew just didn't have the career longevity.
Rashad Mathis corner.
Here's what stinks. I can't think of the name of that left tackle who was Tony Baselli.
Yes.
Yeah, Baselli.
Baselli was by far their best player ever. We're talking all these other guys come to the tips of our tongue first. Tony Baselli. That's it. That's the list. That's the best player in Jags history.
But, it's hard. It's going to be hard for Jimmy Smith because there's so many wide receivers that put up big numbers that aren't in the Hall of Fame. And you look at guys like Torrey Holt and some of these guys that had to wait for years to get in.
Yeah.
Art Monk. It took Art Monk 8
yeah.
years. 8 years for Art Monk to get in, and he had the reception record at one point. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when he retired, he was the all-time leader.
Yeah, and he had the consecutive games with a catch. He was, it was nuts that it took him 8 years to get in. So.
Oh yeah, I put that up. Poor Sonny.
Justice for Sonny's beard.
All right. Well, real quick, let's get some business out of the way so we get the show on the road. Right to the side of me, we have Dan Kelly. Dan, tell them where they can find you when you're not here doing Codex things.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. We gotta wait. That's why I was waiting. You know, we got big sports news today.
I know. We didn't wait for Pam.
I know.
We should be flogged for that.
Yeah, you could find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Here, I'll show you something I'm working on excuse me.
Dan Kelly Art.
And I am not close to finishing, but I'm close to finishing the pencils on it that I've been working on for a bit. This sketch cover.
Let me throw you up there, bud.
So,
looks so good.
So,
Chris,
I'm gonna have to redo Flash's face so he doesn't look like Mr. Mixelpick.
Dr. Fate looks great. Hawkman looks great.
Yeah, I gotta do Hawkman's wings. I just finished the body for Hawkman today, so I gotta do his wings, and then I gotta find somewhere since I have the Thunderbolt on here, I gotta have Johnny Thunder. So I think I'm gonna have him like kind of maybe popping up behind him, but canonically Johnny Thunder's not real tall, so I can't really have him like too tall in the back. So I'll have him there, and I'll was thinking about trying to fit Dollman on here somewhere, just drawing him like really tiny, maybe like sitting on the logo or sitting on somebody's shoulder or something. But yeah,
put Dollman right between Wonder Woman's legs.
I actually was thinking about it because like if you looking at how it's laid out, I was like, that's actually the best place for him to be, kind of standing there like that. But at the same time, like while layout wise, it's the best place to have him. Maybe it's not the best place. I know. There's so many characters that I actually have a list on my phone that I was making because like I wanted it to be all characters that were in that issue. And I was making a list of like all these characters on my, you can't see it, they're on my phone, to try and fit as many as I could, because I didn't want it to just be all JSA characters. So I put in like Captain Comet and Phantom Lady and Blue Beetle. But yeah, like Sandman, Mr. Terrific, the Crimson Avenger, Shining Knight, Guardian, the Ray, Uncle Sam, like they're Human Bullet, like there's all these cool characters. I'm like, I just can't fit them on. So put Tall Man inner cleavage.
There you go.
But yeah,
all we would want to be.
I'm almost to the point. I'm like, there's enough characters that I wanted to put on there that I couldn't fit. That I'm almost thinking like, well, instead of just having be like the front and back cover, I'll get another one and I'll add them to it, and I'll have it be like a connecting thing.
Nice.
And be really obnoxious about it. The Spectre I couldn't fit in. So yeah, there's a lot.
All right. Well, you want to introduce that guy directly below us?
Yeah, well we got to mention that too. Happy birthday to the king.
There's Pam. We had sports talk. We
She knows now. She waits 10 minutes.
We
before
waited.
She comes on.
We waited, Pam. We wanted you to be involved.
I think he would have been 108.
Oh,
today.
wait. We do have some great sports talk. Micah Parsons was traded
to the
to Green Bay. So twice a year, no more. Does Jaden have to worry about Micah coming after him?
We have to see him twice a year now.
Yes. Now he will play. Well, you're Jacksonville. You don't see him.
Yeah, but Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Gotcha. Now we do play Green Bay the second game of the year, but so we will have him once. But what's even better
is when
Dallas has to play him. Dallas has to play Micah with Green Bay, so that's going to be great. He's going to be trying to break Dax. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, he's going to destroy him. Like I would have loved to see the Ravens get him, but at the same time, I was like, there's no way that they're going to give up what it was going to take to get him, and then afford to pay him the contract that he wants. Like with the contracts they have for guys like Lamar and Roquan, the money's just not there.
And the King.
Yeah, and the King, and they just gave a extension to Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah. So no, I'm just happy he's out of Dallas. That makes me so happy.
Yes, like I knew as soon as I saw that news, I was like, Uncle Gary's gonna be so stoked.
Yes, so Pam, that's for you.
As somebody that doesn't, I don't root for any of the teams in that division, but like everybody else, what's up, Booge? I don't like Dallas, so they're terrible.
There you go, Pam.
So I don't like Dallas, so I pray for Jerry Jones to have a long and healthy life, because that team will always be inept and just a train wreck while he's
after that. They just had a banner that said Dallas eliminated from the playoffs.
Did you see there was a fan that was removed from a preseason game for holding up a sign that said "Fire the GM"?
Nice. Of course, it's Jera.
But anyways, yeah, the guy below me that has jerseys for almost every NFL team to go along with his massive comic book collection, the Library of Comics. He's so famous in the comic community that James Gunn named one of the Superman robots after him.
That was quite an honor.
Actually, it wasn't James Gunn. It was
Alan Tudyk.
It was Alan Tudyk, but still, that's still pretty good.
I'm telling you, it's the start of a council of Garys. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. You want to catch me in person? Come right here. Comic Logic, baby. You come to Comic Logic every Wednesday. You can see me, Mighty Mike Harbor, who you see on the station, and Rob Kalin, our principal owner, slinging comics. We're getting those comics. We're getting that 4-color ink right in the bloodstream, baby. I've told you once, twice, 1,000 times. Reading comic books make you strong. You start out with a single book, then you lift in a stack, then a short box, then a long box, then you're stacking them all the way to stealing. Then you're moving them over here and stacking these all. Next thing you know, you are jacked and you are packed, baby. Reading comics make you strong. Also, do some push-ups. They help. So, come see
I've been doing my comic lifting a lot lately.
Go. Do lift them comics, baby. And if you come in on
myself out of bed, which is a struggle.
Next Wednesday, we have a special treat at Comic Logic from 11 to 2. None other than Philip Kennedy Johnson will be in our shop. So if you're in the Northern Virginia area, you come to Comic Logic and you will see Philip Kennedy Johnson. He'll be there for the debut of his new book that comes out next Wednesday, Superman, the House of L. He will be signing that. He'll be signing any other copies of any other books of his that you want. Hell, he'll probably even sign books that aren't his if that's what you really want. But just
that's a Stan Lee move there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just come, get Philip Kennedy Johnson, meet him. He is a fantastic guy. He's a personal friend. He's a friend of the shop. And he had agreed to do a Codex interview. We just haven't connected yet, so I will work on that too to make sure we get the Codex connection going there and we interview him. But he is the author of the Great Hulk series that's going on now, a Batman and Robin series that's going on right now. He created Ghost Rider 44 and the Hellhunters series. I've got my Hellhunters trade in my box at Comic Logic, so I can have that signed by him next week. So looking forward to that. And then again, his new Superman House of L. And he had a great stint on Action Comics for about 3 years. That was just amazing. So
and
Philip Kennedy Johnson,
new Hulk book
the new Hulk book that's great. And he also had a book called The Last God that is amazing. He created a whole universe in there. He created lore. He created songs. He created music for it. This guy is
a talent,
amazing talent. He is an all-star band all in himself with what he creates. And the Fellspire Chronicles, The Last God is an amazing book. And hopefully, I think there should be copies of that either in the shop or that he'll have with him. And that is an amazing read. So Philip Kennedy Johnson, come see him next Wednesday in our shop. Please do. We also want to give love to the Comic Character of the Week site that was founded by our good buddy Archduke Kevy. It's the way that we all became acquainted. And now Mr. Dan Kelly's been running that site for a while now. He gives you the character of the day. He gives you a great question of the day, great random panel of the day. He had one that had, that had moisture as a theme that I really loved. I really loved that panel. Yeah. So
Is that the one that you sent me?
yeah, but it was a great sexy panel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great sexy panel. I like to get wet. Oh man, that was great. I actually won a panel. That was a full page.
That's how you break the ice.
A full page. That's right. A full page spread, if you will. So the whole book is really good.
Very.
Oh, the cover of the book we got this week. Oh my God, I don't know if y'all have gotten it yet. Wow.
Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. So Philip Kennedy Johnson, comic character of the day, and our good buddy Talking Geek is supplying covers of the day with that. So you are getting great value for your money for that site. And yes, it's free, but you're still getting value for your free views. So come see it, check it out. It's well worth having, and it's a great place to be. So
I mean, it's free, but you could send me money.
You could send money. You could send Dan, help subsidize Dan's ideas. You know, Green helps the ideas grow. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. So speaking of ideas growing, fell up there in the headband. He's got to keep the headband tight. He's got to get it tight because all the ideas are just bursting. They're bursting, and they would come through at one time. But with the headband tight, he can let them out in waves. He can slow cook it. He can slow wave it where the little microwaves emit. And that's what he did when he built this station, one brick at a time. He built this wonderful modern structure to give out this great comic knowledge, to go coast to coast and not even stop there, to go worldwide. We have viewers from Europe, from Asia, my buddy Calvin from Japan, all these viewers from around the world because J-Dub decided he wanted to create something in his fertile imagination that would stand the test of time, something that would even get nominated for comic book community online awards. Five nominations. So there, that all sprang forth from the genesis, the germ, the seed that was planted in his cranium so many years ago. How many years ago now, Jamie?
4, 5
years ago.
It'll be going on 5.
5 years ago. And now look at where this structure has gone, because that man right there one day didn't have the headband on, and the ideas just burst forth. And then he learned to corral it. He learned to corral it and slow roll it and to make it one safe structure, one brick, one floor at a time. So now it won't topple. It's steady, and we are giving you the comic content that you deserve. And it's only because the high evolutionary there, the master builder, had an idea and he saw it through, and he has given you this, J-Dub.
Whew, thank you for that. All right. Well, you know what I'm about to say. Go check out the CodexStation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Codex. Get some merch, meet the team, let us know what you like and don't like, and find us on where we find us.
Oh, the socials. Look at us. See, Jamie has to have the headband on also because he's dripping with those socials. And that headband is absorbing all the socials. But there's still enough to give to you. We all have them. We all want you to have them. And the best way to give them to you is by you pressing that little button. And you can have what we have. And then we're all together.
All right. So, speaking of ideas, and I put this one out into the ether, so we're going to put it out here now. Even the guys right here don't know about it. There's only one person on the team that does so far, and I think I'm going to make it official right now. So October 10th, I've been trying to do something for charity for a very, very long time through the Codex Station itself. So no better chance to do it than Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I will be doing a 24-hour live stream with a bunch of different creators to raise money.
Thanks, Pam.
To raise money for breast cancer awareness. We will be doing it probably tentatively October 10th with a bunch of your favorite creators you guys see here. I've already reached out to a couple to get a couple on, and they've already been like, yes. And Richard, that's why I reached out to you earlier too. Every dollar, every super chat, every membership is going 100% to that foundation. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to stay tuned for that. There'll be more details, and there'll probably be a couple videos out for it beforehand. So get ready.
That's ambitious. You're going to be on air all 24 hours?
Yep.
Wow, you ain't gonna be worth a damn the next day.
Yeah, so it'll start at 10. It'll start at 10 p.m. on the 10th, and it'll lead directly into Comics Unleashed Saturday night.
Wow.
So I'm gonna stock up and get everything in the room.
So that's
ready.
a Friday into a Saturday.
Correct. Because I'm off that Monday, so I can catch up on sleep.
So you're gonna start that at 10 p.m. on Friday.
Yep.
Then that's gonna be 26 hours by the time you get off.
It depends if I'm gonna make Comics Unleashed. I might just give it to you and hand it off like a relay race.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna make sure that I go to the shop and buy so many dollar books. I'm gonna be like, here's my back issue to just show off. I'm gonna show off every one of them individually.
Yeah.
You're like, Jamie, pay attention.
Well,
you're just gonna see, huh?
James is gonna have a lot of bottles of yellow fluid next to him.
Oh, I'm gonna get up to use the bathroom. There's no doubt about that. I'll have someone on and be like, go talk for 10 minutes.
You have the original Wizinator that you can just let it go.
You're gonna be like Kevin that one time.
Yeah.
Mic on. That was way before your time, Gary, when we were doing character of the week, and Kevin was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and
we were recording them at this time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
no.
it was, we didn't do the character of the week live. We would record it, and sometimes we do like 2 a night. So we were like, all right, here's the one for this week and next week. And he like goes off to the bathroom, and we can hear him. We're like, turn your mic off.
That was like some Police Academy. Wasn't that in Police Academy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it sounded like he was pouring Kool-Aid from the highest ladder.
Wow.
Like...
Wow.
Well, remember he'd go on there like when we would see him like between film and stuff, and he'd be sitting there just like drinking out of a 2-liter.
Yeah, it's great. All right, let's say we get this.
You gotta message him, tell him he's got to come on for the 10th thing. Then
yeah. So whether or not you guys want to jump in every now and then, that's fine. But we'll talk.
It sounds like it's all hands on deck for that.
Yeah.
That's October 10th.
Yeah. Let's jump into this episode, shall we?
Sure.
Well, we don't have a cool intro because Sal did not provide one for me, but I'm gonna do my best to sound like him. So get ready. See you in about 10 seconds.
All right. Hey, did that get demonetized?
Yes.
Okay, because of that music? Okay.
Yeah. So, welcome to Comic Character of the Week. This week's character might not be a household name like Batman or Superman, but when the wind starts howling, you know he's about to make his presence known. I just lost my track. Here we go. Created as an android, cursed to question his own humanity, and powerful enough to level cities with a single breath. Today we're diving into the tragic, overlooked powerhouse of the Justice League, Red Tornado. We'll break down this mechanical man with a human soul and how he works best in comics, where he falls flat, his badass moments, covers that define him, and of course the best writer, our artist, who we thought brought him to life. Strap in, because once Tornado starts spinning, you'll see why this character deserves way more love than he gets. Welcome to Comic Character of the Week, Red Tornado. And as always, with the origin, Dan.
You sounded like the shy kid in the back of the 5th grade class when the teacher calls on him. All right, Jimmy, it's your turn to read a paragraph from the story.
No matter what I do, I'm going to be that guy.
Oh, I was in class. I was always the one that was like, when it's time to read, I was always the one like slinking down and trying to keep out of the teacher's eyesight. Like, don't call on me to read.
I was always the one that wanted to perform. On me. I'm here.
Well, it's different when I'm on stage.
Absolutely. There you
go. First appearance. Well, there was a Red Tornado. It was in the Golden Age that is different from this character, though there are ties to this character. But this character's original appearance was in Justice League of America 64 in July of 1968, created by the legendary creators Gardner Fox and Dick Dillon.
Yep.
This character has one of the stupidest, most convoluted origins because they've retconned it so many times. So, Gary, feel free to jump in and help me out with this. I'm going to try and simplify it a little bit. So, the Red Tornado was the combination of 2 separate entities. It was the android body that was built by the supervillain T.O. Morrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, that's a comic name if there's ever a comic name.
Yeah.
Like
Thomas Oscar Morrow.
Yeah, like Edward Nygma.
Mm-hmm.
And the tornado champion
Tornado.
from the planet Ran. Now there's a whole other thing with the tornado champion and the tornado tyrant. I'm not even going to bother to get into.
It's confusing.
It also was there with your uncle's memories, who was the original Red Tornado, and then then he didn't have her memories, and then he was a wind elemental, and he wasn't in wind elemental, and originally it was the body was, it's very similar to the origin of the Vision, which is not surprising because he debuted a few months after the Vision.
Yep.
He was created to infiltrate the Justice Society and the
kind of like the Vision was.
Yeah. And he goes, he infiltrates, he defeats them, and then he turns against his creator and helps the heroes defeat him. He became a member of the Justice Society. He was on Earth 2 for years before he finally joined the Justice League in what is that costume that is most associated with him, because originally he was all red and had like purple gloves, purple cape. But his origin has been retconned many times since, and changed, and then changed back, and then changed again, and it's just convoluted as hell. So that's the kind of basics of it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if there's anything you wanna throw in there.
Yeah, he blows up real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power wise, since he is an android, he has enhanced strength, durability, senses, thought processing. They claim he has the ability to self-repair, but you don't really see it that often.
No.
He can generate wind motion in excess of 157 miles an hour, which is the equivalent of a Category 5 tropical storm. But he can get higher, and he has gotten higher when he's under duress, as much as 318 miles an hour.
Sounds like Chris.
F5 material.
Yeah, with F5. He obviously can fly, and it's interesting, and we'll get into the stuff about his humanity and robotics, that his ability is apparently tied to his soul, whatever you want to call it, because at one point he was not in the android body. He was in a clone body from this villain multiplex, and he still had his red tornado powers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not tied to the body so much as it is to his soul, his essence, whatever you want to call it.
I think that I think that sums it up as well as it can be done.
Yes.
Remember,
you talk about convoluted origins for comic characters. Red Tornado has definitely got to be in the top 10, because and it's like all these characters, it's the character's origin, and then somebody comes along and is like, oh well, this will be a cool idea, let me change it to this. And then someone else comes along, well, no, we got to change it back to the original. And then someone wants to change it to something else, and it gets to be a mess.
It does. Poor Reddy.
All right. Well, let's jump into how this character works best, and I'll start off with this one. So what I got is, I think he works best when he's the outsider with a soul. So Red Tornado's whole deal is that he's an android who wants to be human and has that constant struggle that is what makes him shine. He works best when he's written with empathy, almost like DC's version, as we said earlier, of the Vision.
Yeah, essentially.
He's relatable when he questions his purpose, his family, and whether he belongs alongside gods, aliens, and humans. So, Uncle Gary, what do you think works best for him?
I think he works best when he is just a cog in the team machine of the Justice League of America. And in subsequent variations, he's been more of a mentor to some of the younger heroes, and I like him in that aspect too, because he's uncorruptible. He's pure of heart, and he's I think he's a great mentor, and someone that the younger heroes can look up to, knowing that he's got their best interest at heart. Lately, he's also in that aspect with the Justice League Unlimited right now. He's kind of like an overseer of them, of the entire unit right now. So I like him as a viable piece of the league. He's really, really been underused and underutilized, but
yes.
I think he's just a valuable part of that team. Definitely second tier, probably even third tier. But I just think he's an interesting character. And, yeah, that's right. T.O. Morrow. That's exactly right. So I think he's interesting. I think it was definitely DC answering. Marvel and DC were copying on each other back and forth. So there
have been 2 miniseries.
Yeah, there have been. So I think he's an interesting character, but I think he works best just as a part of that big Justice League of America machine. And see what I did there, machine. So I like him as a member of the JLA. I don't know that there's a whole. I think that's where his purpose is. I will say this: he was a leader of a 6-issue miniseries. He was part of the One Star Squadron, and he led that group. And that was a good book. That was funny. It had a little bit of pathos to it too, where it was a little sad. Where it's funny, and then all of a sudden they give you some little. They give you the feels on some things, but I like that. But I just like him as a vital cog in the machinery that is the Justice League of America.
All right, Dan, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it necessarily has to be the Justice League, but I think he works best in a team setting. I wouldn't mind seeing him, maybe going back to the JSA.
Me either.
It's interesting kind of the way they're using him in Justice League Unlimited now, though with the first issue of Justice League Red, you're kind of leaning towards like, all right, maybe there's, almost like
there's hope.
Compare him to the Vision, almost like, when the Vision kind of took over, the computers and, for the whole world, it was going to be, I'm going to make everything safe, but, it's going to be questionable how I do it. The first mission he sends them on is kind of questionable. So I hope they don't do something where it's like, hey, let's take this, underused character and make him a bad guy. And, but yeah, I think he works best in a team setting. I like, how he struggles with his humanity and his robotic nature. And like, does he really have a soul or does he not? Is he a man? Is he just a machine? Like you said, he was a mentor in Young Justice. I really liked him in that. And there was the first issue of it when Superboy and Robin and Impulse go and they're just hanging out in the old Justice League building in the cave, or in their old headquarters in the cave. And Red Tornado was there, and he had just gone and decided he was going to like deactivate himself and basically just be there because he's like, I don't have any humanity, I don't have anything to offer. And he says, and they're running around, and Impulse is running around and spray paints Hanson bites across him. And he's talking, and then he reactivates himself. He says, I had withdrawn from humanity because I had, in fact, lost my humanity. I had believed that without my humanity, there was little to no purpose to my continuing to exist. However, in the past few minutes, I have begun to believe that perhaps, just perhaps, there is some small aspect of human feeling left to me. Superboy goes, why? And he says, because I find that the three of you annoy the hell out of me. I feel an urge to smack you, particularly Impulse. For that, I'm indebted to you. Thank you. And then Robin goes, you're welcome, I guess. So I like that aspect of him. And and he's a family man too. And it's the Vision was always kind of wanting that. And, they had the Tom King series where he made his family, but the Red Tornado had found love with this woman that wasn't a superhero, that was just a normal woman. He adopted his daughter Treya, when her parents were killed in Biala, and is that how you say the country name?
I think it was Biala, Middle Eastern, or Middle Eastern,
fictional Middle Eastern country. But he adopted her, and went to take care of her, and so he's more human than he gives himself credit for.
And his wife was a social worker, Kathy.
Yeah. So, I like that. And again, the team setting, whether it's the Justice League, whether it's the Justice Society, though I feel like it would be better for, a smaller type team, so he doesn't just get kind of lost in the shuffle.
And that's what happens with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into some badass moments. And Dan, why don't you lead this one off?
All right. Well, I'll start off with Justice League of America 102, the original series. They were fighting this character called the Nebula Man, and he had this thing of the Nebula Rod, and it was going to go boom, kill everyone. So the heroes are debating, well, we got to take this into space, and they're debating who's going to take it, and it's the JLA and the JSA, and Green Lantern Hal Jordan says, like, well, I'll fly it out there when my ring will protect me, and then Green Arrow holds up an a yellow colored arrow, and he goes, this is yellow and wood, that would take both of your rings out.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, like, the bomb was filled with yellow pieces of wood, but
yeah, and Superman was going to go, and he says, I'm invulnerable, and Dr. Fate zaps him.
That's just like, not to magic. And while they're all debating, the Red Tornado doesn't say anything. He just and you see them in the panel in the background. He just goes, takes it, and flies off, and leaves a note, that Batman reads to him, where he says, what, I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but he takes it out. He takes the sacrifice, and it blows up, and they think he's lost. Of course, it's comics. Like, I think it was like 3 issues later, he's back. It turned out it didn't kill him, but still, he was willing to go make that sacrifice.
Well, what he said is worthwhile, Dan. You're right on that. He said, the tornado said, I had taken the Nebula Rod and gone to face my destiny alone. You said nothing human could do what must be done and survive. Then perhaps I have a better chance than most. An android is not human. If I perish, all that will be lost is some circuitry and gears. If I am successful, I will see you soon. If I am not, remember me, your friend, Red Tornado. So he definitely had some issues about not being much more than circuitry and gears. So he had an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
And also one of the greatest JLA covers of all time.
Yeah.
102. Yeah.
My second one is from DC Comics Present issue 7. This was the Superman team up book, essentially, where he team up with a different character in each one. And
yes,
Blanchard's weaknesses are thankfully they've gotten rid of both of those.
You could have killed him with a yellow number 2 pencil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sheldon.
The one star
Oh no.
The one star squadron. It was Red Tornado. I think Power Girl was trying to take over, horn in on it.
It was a like a superhero temp agency where you could hire heroes to come, like, to your kid's birthday party, or to be a bodyguard, or stuff like that.
GI Robot was in there trying out new toupees. Was Crimson Fox part of it? I think a lot of C-listers were on it.
Who was it? Who was the I haven't read it since it came out. Who was the character that was like the down on his luck kind of homeless guy?
Oh, well, that was Gangbuster.
Gangbuster. I kept thinking Guardian, but I was like, it's not Guardian. It's one of the other the Superman related.
That was a poignant, sad story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With Gangbuster.
Yeah.
Oh.
But and then Tornado's having to answer to like his corporate bosses about the numbers, and it was a funny book, but
it was funny and sad. Yes.
Yes.
Is it weird enough for Gunn? I mean, I don't know. Gunn is apparently grew up a big JLI fan, so the Tornado wasn't really in that book, so we'll see. Anyways, DC Comics Presents number 7. It's he teamed up with Superman, and they were going against the Weaponeers of Quard, and they were getting ready to, take over the world, wipe everything out. They'd already taken out Superman, and Red Tornado goes and beats them single-handedly, sends them back off to Quard, and it's pretty impressive when Superman's taken out and someone else has to come in and save him.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one is from the second volume of Justice League of America, issue 6. This is the point that I kind of alluded to listing his powers. He wasn't in the android body at this point. He was in the human body, so he didn't have the enhanced strength and vulnerability, all that, but he could still. Oh, that's good. We missed you.
Yeah.
But he still had the wind powers and all that, and he's fighting Solomon Grundy, and this is a Solomon Grundy that in this iteration, when he's come back from the dead, is actually intelligent, and he's very much does not want to die because he doesn't want to go back to being the dumb, mindless Solomon Grundy, and he's manipulating all these events and different characters, and he ends up facing off against Red Tornado himself. And Red Tornado's used to being an android. He's not used to being in a human body and feeling pain, and bleeding and that. So Grundy's kind of beating on him pretty good and like literally rips his arm off, and he's there, and as he's like, hey, what's up?
Rips his human arm off.
Yeah, I was gonna say rips his arm off, his human arm off. He's in human body, and Red Tornado's blasting him with the wind, and Grundy's kind of talking trash to him, and he just keeps going hard at him. And Grundy says, I'm just gonna plant myself here. You're not gonna blow me away. And I forget exactly what he says to him. He's like, well, I'm not trying to do that, but even with the strongest winds, even a tree can snap. And that's when he hits him with like the 318-mile-an-hour winds and snaps Solomon Grundy in two as he's there bleeding to death. And then they come and they transfer his mind, his soul, whatever, back into his original android body. So he got a taste of being in an actual human body. But yeah, that's pretty badass as you're laying there bleeding to death, your arms ripped off, and you snap Solomon Grundy in two.
Yeah. All right.
So those are my three.
So, Uncle Gary, what you got?
What Dan said.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Verbatim?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good.
Did I have all three of yours?
Yeah. There is one more. He did blow up real good again in JLA 129. There was a Necron was this kind of parasitic being that was instilling fear in the JLA, and the JLA heroes would not act because they were so scared they were going to die. And he had a solar flare that was going to destroy Midway City, and only Hawkman would be able to stop it. The way he had it programmed, and Hawkman was not going to do it. He wasn't going to sacrifice himself for Midway. So the Red Tornado disguised himself as Hawkman, went up there, attacked the solar flare, and they both canceled each other out, but Reddy got blown to bits again. So pieces of them were floating around in space. So that was another example of where he, because he wasn't human, he didn't have the fear, and he was able, he hadn't been infected with the fear, and he was able to go out there and do what had to be done. So.
All right. Well,
that's the superpower. He blows up real good.
Yeah.
He's good at just
kind of like Wonder Man. Wonder Man blows up real good. They blow him up all the time. Yeah.
Well, Dan had two of mine, so I'm gonna go with my third one. This is from Justice League of America 192, taking down Amazo. So for those who don't know, Amazo is the android that has all the League's powers. He should have been able to crush Red Tornado easily. Instead, Reddy uses his intellect and wind manipulation to outmaneuver him, weakening him long enough for the team to win. Beating Amazo obviously is no joke. Yeah.
Listen,
it is.
Look, let me tell you something. Mike and I were with Chris in a restaurant, and what he did in that restroom was ungodly. Even the lights in the restroom were blacked out after what he did in there. So we had to leave there before the authorities arrived. It was a biological disaster. Yeah, absolutely. My God. Woo.
But obviously Amazo is someone that who can win a fight basically against Superman, Flash, and Wonder Woman all at once. For Red Tornado to stand tall against him proves how he's just not this robot guy. He's a serious strategist and powerhouse.
I mean, there's some other ones too. I didn't write the issue numbers down because I had a bunch, but I was like, I'm not going to have 8 of them listed like I do a lot. But the one where they were on Earth X, and he was the one that like took out
JLA 107, 108.
Yeah, the one where he took out the last device that was
Mhm.
where the Nazis were controlling the
Yeah.
were controlling the heroes, and Hitler's there trying to convince them to join their side, and Red Tornado's like, kick rocks. I'm not going to be a goddamn Nazi.
All right. Well, let's get into how the character sucks. All right. Well, I'll start off this one. I just think, like we keep talking about, the little joke we have is that too many blow ups and deaths and rebuilds. It's a constant cycle where Red Tornado just gets blown up, rebuilt, questions humanity again, gets repetitive. It makes it hard for a lot of the readers to feel like the character's growing, and he's always reset back to square one. So
yeah, and you keep comparing him to the Vision, but that's something that they've done with him too. And it seems like it's just kind of a trope with any kind of android robotic character. Like, oh, just blow them up, and then eventually they'll get rebuilt, and it gets old.
Yeah. Well, Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. It's just too repetitive. It's just too easy to go blow him up, and then because he's a machine, we can put him back together. And look, I like the Red Tornado, but he's just nowhere near as nuanced as the Vision is. You know, the Vision is cooler powers, cooler character, but and I hate the constant inferiority complex with Red Tornado, and I think a lot of the other thing is he's just so underutilized, and like Dan referenced with the new Justice League Red, maybe we'll get another. We'll get some, new stories with Red Tornado where somebody is taking him seriously and giving the character some respect, because, he could be a very, very fascinating, part of the league that, that there's no other power set in the DCU quite like him, with what he does. So he's, and quit trying to compete with Marvel's Vision. You're not, the Vision is just a cooler entity, I think, but that doesn't mean Red Tornado can't be a very interesting character in his own right. He does not have to just be DC's version of the Vision to be a cool character. Just go with it. Yes, we've given him a million different origins, and that's the other thing, that's kind of nutty. So just stick with whatever the current one is, and let's go with that, and just give this character a little bit of respect and quit just blowing him up all the time.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to echo what you guys say. One of his powers that he's supposed to be able to self-repair, but damned if I've ever seen him actually do that. He gets blown up, he gets rebuilt, and it's just, I mean, and they've done it with the Vision a lot, and it happens even more with Red Tornado. It's like every few issues, when he's a main part of a book, even when they gave him a human body, they ripped his goddamn arm off.
That was brutal.
It was brutal, yeah, but it's like, man, you can't give this, let the guy catch a break.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just gets old. And even now, his body was destroyed, and he's just like,
yeah.
True.
Yeah, but then Vision lost him to Scarlet Witch. I mean, it's a Wonder Man. Yeah.
But as I was saying, now he's, just the mind in the computer, and they haven't even given him a new body. Like, you tell me the Justice League with, 1,000 members now, and Mr. Terrific and the Adams and Batman and all these guys, and, Will Magnus and the Robot Man and the Challenge of Tomorrow, and they got this great big sound. You telling me someone can't take a few minutes of their day to build a little body for him? Come on.
Yep, exactly.
A little Groot body.
Yeah. So
come on, give him some love.
Yeah, maybe DC could trade him to Marvel, since they don't want to.
That needs to be the crossover that they've been talking about.
Yeah. So
in the Vision, I would buy that.
So yeah, it's just annoying that they've used that trope too much. Like Gary said, the overly complicated origin that I mentioned before. You had an origin, it was fine, and then you got to tweak it, and then you got to change it, and then change it back, and then change it again, and then change it back, and at this point I don't even know what the canon is of it anymore. They've changed it so many times.
I have no idea either.
And then also too, like you said, he's underused, and yeah, he doesn't have the pathos as the Vision, but it's because they've, other than like there's been like 3 times in his history he's been used pretty well. When he was on the Justice League in the original, well, they kind of did that in Primal Force, which that book didn't last.
No,
right.
But, when he was on the original Justice League team, he was on that for a pretty good amount of time. The Young Justice series, when he was the mentor to them, and then Brad Meltzer when he started that run on Justice League, and he was in that for a while. But it's like, it'll be like a chunk of time, but then he'll disappear for a while, then another chunk of time and all that. So, and then also he never gets put on the cover. You look at all these issues of Justice League when he was on the team for all this time and did all this important stuff on it, and he's barely on any covers back then.
Yeah, it wasn't on many. He was not the draw on that.
And when he was on a cover, he was just kind of in the background. He didn't really get, his time to shine on that many covers.
No, and that was the hardest thing about covers for this character.
Yeah, you take out his 2 miniseries, and you take out a big chunk of what you're picking from.
Yeah. Well, speaking of covers, we're gonna get into that here in a second, but I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the Comic Book Community Awards. Guys, like we said earlier, we have been nominated for 5 different categories. If you guys get the chance, you guys can find it. The first one, overall best live stream, and we're in here with some heavy hitters. The next one we have is best informative content, best live stream within our major channels for 1 to 2,000 subscribers, best entertaining content, and I got to get Sal a better graphic than this, but Sal was nominated for best host. So you can go over to cbcawards.org and go vote for us. Voting ends, I believe, October 11th, and the awards will be November 1st. So if you guys can, thank you so much. But go vote for the other creators too. There's a lot of great ones on there. So
Sal's such a baller. He was like, "Oh, I'm nominated for best host." Word. Going on vacation for a week.
Yeah. I'm done. Peace.
He's resting on his laurels as we speak. Shit. Chris, you know what?
All right, go, Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris needs a beating, I think.
All right. Well,
you almost made Gary speechless.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Gary's a man of very many words. In this case,
what I had to do was I had to not say a lot of things. I can't say that. No, I can't say that. No, I can't say that either. So yeah. Oh man, my options were limited.
Well, he's gonna end up texting Chris in the middle of this and be like, "Listen, you mother." All right, I got Dan queued up for covers. You ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
And for the first time, I think I've actually owned all 3 covers that I picked. Nice. So I'll start off on the left, Young Justice 43. It's a Red Tornado cover, but you also see his daughter Treya there, where she's writing "Dear Daddy, Why Do People Hate Me?" And it has to do with, this is a standalone issue, and he's not even really in the issue. Damn, Chris.
Jesus.
He's not even really in the issue until the end. It's an issue that focuses on her, but I like the image of her sitting there writing it, the way that Nock drew it with the note there, and then you see him reading it. And, any parent, if you got a note like that or something like that from your kid, it would break your heart. And if you read this issue, it's a very emotional, very poignant issue that has to do with the daughter.
Nice.
The middle, the Justice League, the one in the middle, the Justice League of America 3, that's my favorite Red Tornado cover. And you see all the other tornado robots that are in the background, and he's just flying forward there. I love that cover. He's front and center and just looks badass. And then the cover on the right, Red Tornado, it's issue 6 of 6 of his second miniseries. And it was revealed that there were all these other, the brothers and sisters, if you will, like Red Volcano and stuff like that. And he's having to fight against them. And I just love that you see him there fighting all 3 of them while he's protecting his wife and protecting his daughter. because I think that those two are crucial to his character.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the best look for the Red Tornado too, where they have that like classic red and yellow with the blue cape, but it doesn't have all the extra like, yellow lines all over his body, which, it's the look is okay, but it's just, it really gets to be too much at times.
Do you know where he got the suit from the middle from?
I don't remember, but I know that's when he's in the human body and he's wearing a suit.
Well, the one in the middle, that's basically his classic costume that he had when he was with the JLA.
Yeah.
That was given to him in Justice League of America 110, and it was given to him by the League. It was a Christmas issue, and they gave him that suit as a present.
That's right. They gave it to him for Christmas.
Yeah.
When one of the times when he got blowed up and rebuilt.
Yep, that's right. And they gave him a new one. I guess one that maybe wouldn't get blowed up so much. But
hey, what's going on?
Hello, comic collector.
Well, his look before they gave him that wasn't really, it was like a red body, purple trunks, purple gloves, a purple cape, and it was pretty plain.
Yeah, it was very plain. It was very plain.
So that's my 3.
All right, so I'm gonna go with mine.
Yep.
So on the far left, we got Justice League of America 192.
Love that cover.
I absolutely love this cover too. It just shows the power behind Tornado, especially for a guy that they don't really utilize in covers.
George Perez, goodness.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, we already talked about the middle one because Dan had that one, and I couldn't pass it up myself because it's just like Dan said, incredible. And the last one I have is from his very first miniseries. It's #1 of Red Tornado. And anytime you have a face-off or anything with Superman in the cover, I'm putting it on. But hey, look, word bubbles too. So, we love those here.
Carmine Infantino.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Uncle.
It's some early Kurt Busiek too.
Mm-hmm. All right, the one in the middle is my favorite Red Tornado cover. This would have been, I almost could have used this for a badass moment. I just love that. Come back to rejoin the Justice Society. Any objections? I just love that. And that's a first appearance of that character right there on that cover. Mm-hmm. So that is by the great Dick Dillon, and the inks were by Jack Abel on that cover. And JLA, and that was a JSA book. It was all JSA. I don't think the League really appeared in that, except maybe at the very, very end.
Yeah, I think it was at the very end.
Yeah, the next issue, 65, dealt with Tornado going to the League. But I just think that is cool. It's powerful. And he's just, boom, badass on that. Love it. The one on the, thank you. The one on the, appreciate that affirmation. The one on the left, 106, it's a Nick Cardy party, baby. Look at that beautiful Nick Cardy cover. The day I joined the JLA, I killed them all. And it was really interesting because 105, they had just inducted another new leaguer. He's on the cover there. Anybody know? Somebody on that cover was just inducted into the league the issue before.
Oh, was it
Elongated?
Black Canary?
It was Elongated Man.
Elongated Man.
Yeah. Yep, Elongated Man had just been inducted in 105, and here 106, we're putting somebody else in. But that is just, look, I mean, Nick Cardy was so great at anything he did. Westerns, horror, romance, superhero. He was amazing. So it's a Cardy party right there. Love that. And then the one on the right was, I didn't even know. I didn't write the artist down on that, so that's on me. But I just think that's a great, for his miniseries, I just think that's a great solo cover of him. And then those other members, of the Tornado family that were introduced in that miniseries, you see the silhouettes behind them. So I just think that's a cool solo image of Reddy where it's just him, no other distractions.
Yeah, and I almost used that one for one of my covers too. That was one of my finalists.
Well, I had to throw that in there because I wanted to give him a solo, but I mean, I was really I'm glad Jamie used that JLA 192 because I love that cover, and I sacrificed that to put in a solo Red Tornado book. So,
you know what? That's Ed Bain's cover.
Ed Beans, okay.
How do you say it?
Yeah, Dennis or Beans.
Dennis.
It's something. Dennis. Okay.
He's
Yeah.
related to Elaine.
He didn't do the art on the book, but he did the cover.
Yeah.
And yeah, really the reason I didn't pick that was because I ended up picking the issue 6 from that series.
Right.
All right. Let's jump in to
I agree, Pam. I agree.
recommended reading. And Uncle Gary, I got you queued up.
All right. Recommended reading. All right. I mentioned it earlier, the One Star Squadron. I think Black Condor was another member of that. And then there was Firefox, I think, was part of it. But it was, basically a JLA cameo thing, or a Make-A-Wish. Yeah, Make-A-Wish thing where they would, and there was money involved too. They could, like Dan said, kids' birthday, supermarket openings. And so it was just JLAC team would go out there to these events. And it was comical, but yet poignant in a lot of spots where you didn't expect it. But Reddy was the leader of that. JLA, these are all this volume 192.
Heckler, he was in it too.
Who was?
Yeah, Heckler was in it.
Oh, the Heckler, yeah. JLA 192, 193, volume 1. Those were, Jamie showed the first issue of that 192, and that was where they kind of got the Tornado Tyrant and the Tornado Champion and revamped his origin. Jerry Conway wrote that, and the art was by Perez and John Beatty. And then the One Star Squadron, it was written by Mark Russell, and the art was by Steve Lieber. And then Justice League of America, The Tornado's Path, that's Justice League of America, Volume 2, 1 through 7. And it was by Brad Meltzer wrote it. Ed Bennis did the art, and Sandra Hope was the inker. And that was, what we've described, where we had the intelligent Grundy and Reddy having his arm ripped off when he was in a human body. And it was just, it was just sad. It was tragic. And what I really liked that Meltzer did in that was he incorporated a lot of straight annals from Reddy's history in there. There was a lot of JLA 106 in there, and a lot of, I think there was some of a 192 and 193 in there. So he used a lot of great existing artwork, from Reddy's past in that story. So he was given deference to what had come before. And when I was rereading this, I think I had reread something I'd forgotten, that Brad Meltzer's first comic was JLA 150. So, mine was 111, so he wasn't too far behind me. And it was, he said that book changed his life. So he does have quite the love of the Justice League of America, and it shows. So,
oh yeah,
I recommend those books pretty highly. So I think they're not just for Red Tornado, for the whole inner workings of the team.
Oh, remember One Star Squadron 2 was the character Minuteman?
Yes.
You'd have powers, but it would be like for 1 minute. And he would dress like the Minuteman from the Revolutionary War. And he kept needing to get jobs because nobody wanted him.
Yeah. That's right. If you thought Our Man's powers sucked initially in minute 61, Minuteman is even worse.
All right. Let's see. Dan.
All right, well, I got Red Tornado Volume 1. It's 4 issues. This was, Gary had it as the cover. Kurt Busiek wrote it. Carmine Infantino drew it. It was, his first time to be solo away from everyone, and it kind of focuses on his family, and it focuses on him being the guy to take on this primary threat to the world, where, of course, he beats it because it's his book. And he's a character I don't think could sustain a long-term ongoing series, but giving him the occasional miniseries, I think that he could. I think he can have really good miniseries, and I think this is evidence of that.
Me too.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Red Tornado miniseries every few years.
Yeah.
Or even hell, give him his own team-up book, and each issue he can team up with something different. Young Justice Volume 1. Yeah, I went ahead and put the whole thing on there. It's 60 some issues because I couldn't really narrow down one particular storyline. I talked about the one issue in my covers. But yeah, this is where he's not so much a part of the team, but he's a mentor to, the next generation of heroes, and he helps take care of them and helps guide them as they're trying to become heroes in their own right. Because of all his experience with the Justice League, it shows stuff with him and his, with his family. And it, he does go into the field and help them out sometimes as well. He kind of, when they have to stand up to the Justice League at times, he's, he takes their side. He doesn't side with the League. He takes their side against the League and says, hey,
yep,
leave him be. I'm helping him out. So, and it's a fantastic series too. And it wasn't canceled because it wasn't popular. It was a popular book. The only reason they canceled it is because they were relaunching Teen Titans, and they wanted to use all of those characters in Teen Titans instead of Young Justice. And then, just like Gary, Justice League of America, The Tornado's Path. It's Volume 2, Justice League of America, issues 1 through 6. Brad Meltzer, Ed Benes, and I think Gary covered it pretty well. It's a great read, and it focuses a lot on the formation of the new league, and with them coming together as the in this story that revolves around Red Tornado, and you get to see him in a human body for a while, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if they had just left him human body for longer than that, and just because that would have been another aspect of the character. Okay, now you are in a human body. Now you have to adapt to feeling what it is to be a human and not be an android. Now you have to adapt to pain, and you might get a broken bone. You might die. Bullets not just going to bounce off you. I think that would have been an interesting aspect that they could have dealt with longer.
Well, I think it. Because he had that, and he went home and got some boom, took a wow with his wife in the human body, and all that. So that was great. So I think when he had to go back to a robotic form after that, I just think Meltzer wanted that for the emotional gut punch that everything he experienced, he now had to lose.
Yeah, I get that. Like I said, I just feel like if they, there was a lot more story that could have been mined there with him in a human body, and then
I agree.
And him, because he spent all this time as an android, kind of, longing for humanity. Now it would be the opposite. Now he's in a human body, and now he's like, and you could have explored him, having to deal with fear of being hurt or fear of being dying, and and all, just simple stuff like stubbing his toe and all of these things that that maybe he would have started questioning. Oh, maybe I should be in the android body. So I think it's something, hopefully somebody might pick that up and run with it in the future.
Maybe I won't volunteer to get blowed up all the time. Yeah, he lost his wiener. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking Red Tornado's full Ken doll.
He's just smooth parts.
Smooth.
I don't know. I mean,
for any of you that have read the 12, you know how bad that can be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know though. The Vision, android synthoid body, and he managed to be able to do something to make Wanda think she was pregnant.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
All right, jump into mine. So obviously, Tornado's Path. I don't think we need to go too much more into that. It's been explained very, very well. Ripped off the down. Maybe.
I mean, they could have. It's a bald kid with an arrow on its head that has wind powers.
Yep.
Yeah. So
definitely could have.
The first one I got is Justice League of America, Volume 1. This is 146 and 147.
Construct.
The League battles the Construct, and Red Tornado is the center of the story.
The Construct, kind of like, I don't know, Ultron?
Yeah. The Construct keeps trying to manipulate his android nature. This is one of the first times we really question his humanity and loyalty to the League. You can feel the seed of what makes Red Tornado, an outsider hero, struggling to fit in with gods and aliens while being a machine himself. Next up is 52, and I kind of pulled this one. He's not the headliner for this, but his appearance. No one, not a single person. But he ends up battered, broken, and rebuilt. Shocker throughout the series. There's a heartbreaking bit where he loses his android body and is trapped in a human shell, forced to actually experience physical limitations and pain. This arc shows the reverse of his usual struggle. Instead of a machine trying to be human, he's human wishing he had the durability of a machine. It's a clever flip that reinforces how much his humanity has grown over the years. So great picks, everyone, all the way around.
I mean, I think it's clear from all of us picking the same story. What if you're going to go read a Red Tornado story?
Yes.
You know, which would be the one to start with?
Exactly.
Maybe that one.
That one right there.
Yeah.
About the other 7. No. But
and it's funny at the end of it too when they're handing out the cards for this is going to be the new league, and Batman says like, this is how you're going to pick the new league, just the heroes that happen to be there for this Red Tornado thing. And they're like, isn't that kind of how we got the league originally? It was all the heroes that just happened to be at this one thing. And we're like, hey, let's make a team.
Wasn't it issue 0 that they did that in of Justice League of America? That run?
Well, no, I think it was issue 7. I think it was right after the tornado, the first 6 issues that led into the 7th issue, which was the
I think it was at the end of 6 and like 7 was the official team.
Where 0 they into the Hall of Justice.
0 they were going through picking.
Yeah, 0 was Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and they were just going through like debating who they should pick, and this person yes, this person no.
Right.
Yep.
Though the best ever, and it was of any characters debating on who should be in the league, was in an episode of Young Justice when the team's all sitting around the table.
No,
and and they say,
I know where he's going with this.
Yeah, and Flash brings up like, well, if we want some more raw power, Earth has a 3rd Green Lantern. You just hear Hal and John Stewart at the same time go, no, and he goes, well, yeah, but there's just no. and then Guy Gardner still ended up joining the team.
Yeah. That was great. That made me laugh too. The first when I saw that too, I was like, oh, that is great.
Oh God! Well, let's get into our last segment of the show, which is best writer and artist, and these are the writers and artists that we see fit the character in our own vision. Guess it keeps coming up. I'll kick this one off. I have for writer Brad Meltzer, and for my artist, I got Todd Knock. So Uncle Gary.
All right, writer Brad Meltzer, Tornado's Path was brilliant. I'm going to give love to somebody that doesn't get love on this when we talk about this stuff, and I'm going to give to a co-creator, Dick Dillon. Oh. Dick Dillon started, and listen, he was my Justice League artist when I first started reading the JLA in 111. Dick Dillon started doing the Justice League. Any idea of what his first issue of the regular stint was?
I don't remember what it was.
No.
How about 64? That's the cover I showed where he's breaking. Oh. So the Red Tornado's first issue was Dick Dillon's first issue. Anybody want to take a guess at what his last issue was?
I don't remember. I know he drew it for years and years.
12 years.
Yeah.
194.
You're close. 183, I believe, was his last issue. And do you know why he stopped drawing it?
Because he died.
He died. Dick Dillon.
That's a good reason. Drawing it today.
Yep. He also did a lot of World's Finest issues too. I just think, well, it'll be interesting to see what Dan thinks of him, but I think he was very workmanlike, and he came to work every day and he did his job. And 12 years on that title, drawing the different characters in the league, I thought he did a hell of a job. And I think Dick Dillon was really steady, and he was solid. Was he the most spectacular? No, but he was steady and he was solid. You knew you were reading a JLA book when you opened the pages and you saw his art. I thought he was really, really good. And I think I'm going to pick Dick Dillon, who also co-created the character, just to celebrate a man that worked on a title from 1968 to 1982.
Yeah.
That's a
No, yeah,
run.
his art was great, and I've said this about a lot of the artists back then. The paper quality was so bad that when
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, yeah, this art's okay, but then when you're able to see like scans of the original pages, you're like, oh man, that looks so much better. When you see some of the stuff printed on better paper, you're like, and like the ink's not bleeding and stuff, you're just like, oh man, this stuff was so good, but it doesn't always come across.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right, Chris. And that's when Perez came on right after that. But
Yeah.
I think Dick Dillon was just a guy that did his job for years, and the books looked good. I mean, the books were really really good. They had a quality to them. They were very entertaining. And he's one of the guys we don't talk about. Guys in that era, we talk about Carty, we talk about Jim Aparo, of course, we talk about Neil Adams, talk about Mike Grill to an extent. But man, Dick Dillon, he was just at his job. And again, he also did he did World's Finest, a lot of those. I think he's a guy that had a classic style on these characters, kind of like the way Kurt Swan had a classic style. When if I see a page that Dick Dillon did, you don't even have to tell me who that was. I know exactly that was Dick Dillon's work, and I just thought it was very professional, very solid, very just like I said, I just want to give a shout out, Dick Dillon. Yeoman's work, brother, yeoman's work. So Dick Dillon's my guy.
And think about it too, like 12 years on the title, you get, how often do you see artists now that can't even do, that doing 6 issues in a row
is too much for him.
He did 6 issues. Like how rare is it that you see an artist that actually does a book and does it month in and month out every month, and the art looks good. Like there's artists that can do it, and you're just like, yeah, that's not great.
And with all those
artists to do it and look good doing it,
with all those characters that went in and out of that series too.
Yeah,
that it was just he was there. So yes, Chris, exactly right. He was a working man's artist, and he deserves us to remember him and how good he was. So Dick Dillon, you're the man on that, buddy. And DC's flagship hero team.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a little fly-by-night book he was doing. He was doing DC's flagship heroes and their team for all those years.
All right, Dan, who do you got?
All right, well, for writer, I had to give it to split it between 2 people. Like you guys, I had Brad Meltzer.
What do you say now?
It's a Pam.
Oh, Pam! I knew it was Chris, and Pam comes in with that. Pam, you know what? I do too, so it's all right.
I had to give it to Meltzer. You could tell when you read The Tornado's Path that Red Tornado is a character that Brad Meltzer loved.
Yeah.
You could tell he's like, I'm going to take this character that nobody's been doing anything with, that I love, and I'm going to make other people love him too. And you could tell that in reading it. And the other one I picked is Peter David for the way he used him in for that whole run of Young Justice.
I agree.
Where he had him as a mentor to the young characters, and he dealt a lot with the Red Tornado, and again him finding his humanity, him the stuff with his wife and with his daughter. So I'll give it equally to both of them. And then for artist, again, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. How do you say it?
Bennis.
I think Bennis.
Bennis. Well, that's only his profession. His real name I looked up on Wikipedia is Jose Elabeniz Becerra.
No,
Go with Bennis.
I butchered that, but yeah, Ed. Yes,
Ed
Eddie B.
Great.
Eddie B. Yeah.
Eddie B.
I love how he drew him in Justice League. The whole Justice League run that he did was fantastic. I especially liked how he drew Red Tornado in it as well. So those are my picks.
All right. Well, that wraps this show up for the night. Great picks, everybody. Great stories, great covers. Don't forget.
I'm not putting that up.
Yeah, we're not doing that, Chris. Don't forget to check out Comics Unleashed this week. We have 2 special guests for you because me and Sal will be out. I am still up in the air if I'm still going to try to jump on or not. But we have Uncanny Derek Comics joining us, and also our very own Richard Westfall will be on as well. So get ready for that great show. And as always, catch us on the podcast, catch us on all the socials, and check out our shorts and YouTubes. Everything we're doing on there, TikToks, they've been great. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome having